Hello there, YouTube, and welcome to my show. I'm SAR Tregod. This is my vlog, my little get-together with you so that you can know the kind of things that are going on with me. A lot of the reason why I have not been around as much as I should have been is because I have been working very hard at my job, and while initially I had decided that I really liked my job, I still very much do like my job. It's just a lot of work and very little obvious recognition of that work. And so I'm working very hard, and I do have trouble sleeping pretty consistently. So that does cut into the time that I have to do things, because I'll spend hours just lying in bed trying to get to sleep, and it's no fun. It's something that it's a struggle, but it's something that I take care of. So I won't let it completely dominate my life, but it's something that I have to deal with. So just, I apologize for having gone so long. I'm going to try to continue to be in a regular schedule. I have been regularly doing the SAR podcast, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I am working on the things that have been holding me back from doing my videos. I have not gone anywhere. I have not forgotten you. I will continue to produce content. I've just been on a bit of a lull, so I'm coming back from it, and this is going to continue to happen. On lighter news, the fact of the day, as we begin to get back into the swing of things, I'm going to start off with something that I'm sure that we all understood back in the day. Piggy banks. I'm sure everybody had a piggy bank back in the day. The fact of the day is the name for piggy banks actually comes from the use of family money jars in the Middle Ages that was made from a type of clay called pig, spelled P-Y-G-G. So, interesting thing to note, something that you may not have known otherwise. So, now that we've done the fact of the day, things that kind of happening in my life, like I mentioned, work and dealing with some issues of, I've mentioned a couple of times trying to get into the rhythm of work, and now I'm in the rhythm of work, but I feel that I have gotten too far into the rhythm of work, and I've gotten out of the rhythm of YouTube, and I need to make sure that those two things have a balance in my life. So I'm taking this time to reevaluate things and to make sure that I am both producing good content for you and producing myself in a quality level at work. So I will get this down. It's just taken me longer than I was expecting, but your patience is phenomenal. I have 50 likes on my Facebook page now, which, if you're watching this, you've probably liked my Facebook page, and I appreciate it more than I could possibly say. The amount of time that I put into my YouTube videos seems small to you because the video that comes out is relatively small, but there's a lot of things that I do on the side when I'm producing content that is time-consuming, and back when I didn't have a job, it wasn't difficult for me to do those things. Now that I do, and I'm constantly putting in anywhere between 30 and 40 hours a week and of really stressful, rigorous work, it's becoming more and more difficult for me to keep up. Having said that, I will make sure to do so. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't really have much of a social life. I spend a lot of my time at work or recovering from work, and so sometimes that gets in my way a little bit, but I will make sure that I am doing my best from this step forward to be, at the very least, every week producing this vlog so that you can know what's going on with me, so that you're not left in the wind. Again, I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused anyone. I know I don't have very many viewers, but the viewers that I have are very loyal viewers, and I really appreciate you guys. So thank you. Thank you for continuing to watch. Thank you for not walking away and never coming back. And you and I can move forward into the future and make this channel just as awesome as it possibly can be. So again, I really appreciate you. My prospects for the future are quite interesting. I have a lot of things that I have wanted to do and a lot of projects that I've kind of been thinking about maybe moving forward a little bit on, and so the more projects that I have, the more work I'm going to have. So for now, I think I'll keep what I have being produced to a minimum until I get my schedule. I think my biggest problem is that I have so many things that I want to do, so many fun things that I want to share with you and I want you to enjoy alongside me. And the problem is that there's just too many. There's just too much. So I think what I'm going to do is continue to produce content at the same rate, but only focus on certain games at certain times so that I'm not having too many projects out there all at once. So that should help with these videos in the future. And other videos, making sure that they're constantly sticking forward. This is the first time that I've ever really lived on my own wage before, just me, myself, and figuring out how to do things, and I'm learning how to adult. And it has been a road for me, but it is one that I am doing fine. I'm keeping my head up, I'm pushing forward, and you know, I'm learning to adult. That's the best way to say it. So stick with me, and we will continue to push forward into the future. And I know that we can. I know that you guys enjoy these videos. As somber as this one has ended up turning out being, I think that you'll still, you know, kind of have an understanding of what's happening with me. And so we'll move forward, and I will do better. Alright, so things that I am going to work on that are guaranteed to happen for the future. I've already talked about fixing my schedule, so I'm not even going to go into that. However, what I will go into is interesting new things that I am going to add to the show that aren't going to detract from my time, but they are going to make things kind of more fun for you guys. On SAR Martinian's channel, the guy who started all of this amazing shenanigans of Ridiculosity that we have been having over the past however many months it's been, he suggested on the podcast this evening that I actually have boxes in the background, and because on one of his videos I made this big joke about, oh Jesus, the boxes, and if you haven't gone and seen that video, you really should. It's a lot of fun. Really, you should just be watching all of our videos all the time, but I can't expect you to put that much time commitment in, so go and watch that particular video so that you can get the joke. It's the name of the video on SAR Martinian's channel is Oh Jesus, Oh God, spelled G-A-W-D, and it's so much fun. So I have decided that for the future I'm going to stack boxes behind me, so you're not actually going to see my room or anything anymore. You're going to see my boxes, and that's going to be like my studio. And maybe taking the time to set that up, taking the time to make it really personalized like that, and really kind of focusing myself, I'm thinking that that will help me to continue to remember that this is a priority as well. So that's going to be something new and fun and exciting. They're not going to be anything special. It's probably going to be a bunch of Home Depot boxes, but you know, it's going to be great. As you may have noticed, I am going to be doing cutting and editing and other little things that, while they will add to my time a little bit here and there, what I'm hoping is going to happen is it's also going to make the content a little bit more free-flowing for you guys. Maybe, you know, these continuous takes, these uncut things, they're just too long. And so I think I can shorten my video time on these vlogs by just cutting out all the ums and ums and uhs that I can. And if I screw up on something, I just stop, take a moment to think about it, and then start again. So I think that this is going to work. This is going to be my first try. It's going to take a little bit more editing time, but you guys are worth it, and producing quality content to me is worth it. So just a heads up that that's something new that's going to happen. Every week we do the SAR podcast. Here, half of the podcast takes place in our apartment, so, you know, it's gonna happen every week. And that's been the one thing that I've been consistently a part of over this last month, is that every week I've been there for the SAR podcast. And it is something that I will continue to do week in and week out. I will never miss the SAR podcast, provided I'm not sick or injured or something like that. If I'm able to physically be here and sitting in this chair, I will make it to the SAR podcast. We talk about a lot of fun things. It's every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock for anybody who's here in Kentucky, 7 o'clock if you live in Texas, 6 o'clock if you live in the Northwest, and if you live anywhere else, you're going to have to look it up because honestly, I don't know how I know you from anywhere else. So those are the times that I know I have viewers that watch this show. And you should be able to watch the SR podcast on those times. So go ahead and give that a look. It's on SAR Martinian's channel. He's kind of our leader. He's the one who produces the most and the highest quality of all of our videos. So go ahead and go on his channel on Tuesdays, and it's just a 2-hour live feed of us shooting the breeze, having a good time, and it's a lot of fun. So I would strongly recommend taking the time to watch those videos and enjoying yourself, because they are a lot of fun. We have great fun, and there's a lot of good ideas getting thrown around. So the last time that I did these videos, I had a call out for questions that I could answer while I do this video. And from the first one to the second one, there wasn't a whole lot of people watching. I'm not expecting a lot of people to watch on this particular episode because it's been so long, but those of you who do watch, thank you very much. And those of you who give me questions, while I'm not going to name you, I will very much answer your questions because they are very much appreciated. So, moving on to my first question. What game is an example for you of that perfect blend between gameplay and narrative? For me, I think that the perfect blend between gameplay and narrative has to be those open world games. I mean, games like Skyrim and what else is technically open world? Other open world games like Skyrim. I find those games to be really interesting. You see, the thing that you have to remember is that those games, while they have to take into account quality graphics, they also have to take into account storyline that's going to keep you interested no matter where you are, no matter how you're picking up on it, no matter what time you're picking up on it. Those kind of open world things, they're very, very, very difficult to make. And I think that they are absolutely wonderful. They're probably my favorite games to play. I feel like I get to control the story, and I get to manipulate the narrative through the gameplay. And I think that that is the kind of perfect blend that I just can't get enough of. Next question. What do you play on, console or PC? I used to be a console player, and I loved it, and it was some of the greatest times of my life. But when it really comes down to it, I have become a PC gamer through and through. My PC is not the greatest PC in the world, obviously, but it is a pretty darn amazing PC. And it is well put together, and aside from my screen being the wrong aspect ratio for the kinds of things that I want to produce, in general, my PC is a lot better than a lot of other people's. And so my PC allows me to do things that a console never would, and I really appreciate that. Plus, I prefer to use a mouse and keyboard over a controller for the most part. So there's a few games that break that mold, but for the most part, you know, it is what it is. Question number 3. How much do you know about Star Wars? Oh boy. I know a lot about Star Wars. A lot about Star Wars. A lot about Star Wars. Now, if we're talking official canon, then the extended universe has been cut out as of the new movie Star Wars Episode 7, which is being produced by Disney. So, if I'm having to cut out all of the extended universe, then obviously there's not much that I know that not everyone else already knows. But when it really comes down to it, I consider myself a Star Wars nerd. I used to play Star Wars MMORPGs all the time, and lately it has been a bit of a dry spell for me, which is sad in some instances, but not sad in others. I have these 2 wonderful things that I picked up when I was at Disney. It's these 2 absolutely wonderful little Mickey head things, the Rebel Alliance and the Imperial Forces. And honestly, out of all the things that I got during that trip, I think those are my favorite. I collect things Star Wars all the time. You may have seen me playing with these guys during the SAR podcast or during my videos, is because these two are awesome. I got my Boba Fett and my Clone Trooper, and their heads come off in their USBs. Not very big USBs, but still gotta love them. So I think that ultimately you can say I'm a pretty big Star Wars nerd. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed the fact that I answered your questions, and I hope that I answered them in a appropriate manner, took long enough on each question to make sure that I got through everything that you wanted me to get through. If you have any more questions that you would like to ask, make sure that you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will answer any and all questions that I am given unless I get so many questions that I physically can't answer it within the time. In which case, that means that I have a lot of fans and I really appreciate you guys anyway. So I will get to questions as often as I can, but I guess we'll see. Now on to the nerd fact of the day. Did you know Ian McKellen, the actor who plays both Gandalf and Magneto, believes that Gandalf could easily overpower the Master of Magnetism? I find that interesting. I think that Magneto comes from a world filled with beings who can do incredible things, and he's still considered one of the greatest villains of all time because of how ungodly powerful he is. And yet Gandalf is a wizard. And not just a wizard, the White Wizard, the Grey. He was known throughout the land. Everyone knows Gandalf. So I think that Ian McKellen has a point, that Gandalf is incredibly powerful, and I think that he could overpower Magneto in a number of ways. He's also very resourceful, so perhaps he could use his intelligence. But I'm going to have to give a shout out to my man Magneto. In a world filled with people who have powers that cancel his repeatedly, he still is consistently one of the most powerful villains that exists. Gotta give him props for that. Alright, well this has been another episode of Ridiculosity. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I hope that you continue to watch my videos, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, send a letter, find me on Facebook, donate a kidney, really anything that you want to do. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that I get to see you real soon.